I should have mentioned in that last video that this cuttlefish image has very high contrast background subject relationship, so it makes it a lot easier to use the magic wand tool, and also something like the quick selection tool, which is kind of like a magic wand brush. Check it out. I'm able to move all the way around it and for the most part get the selection I'm after. I'll hold Option just to add this little bit here that's missing, and I could continue to refine it elsewise. But what about images that aren't such a hard contrast edges? Well, it takes some time, but also there's a great new tool, relatively new. I'm going back to the fuzzy yak, and with any selection tool chosen here, I can choose Select and Mask. And that opens up this pretty powerful palette that you're gonna find useful at times. I'll start out by just hitting Select Subject. It's gonna give it a chance to try to read my mind and figure out what it is I'm after. And I did a relatively good job at seeing the yak. And then it's over here to the left that you see that we now have this quick selection tool chosen. So I can subtract areas and add areas, as you know, holding Option now. But where the contrast is so low, it's gonna have a really tricky time. In this right edge, you can see that I've got nothing turned on here, so I see the actual edge of the image, and it's difficult to see, but essentially you can see it's too crisp, too hard edged right there, and I want to soften that. So we'll do that in a moment, but scrolling down, we'll see that the output is set to layer mask, which is, I think, the most useful at this point. So it'll keep things clean, a single layer. So I'll hit OK, and that shows me my layer mask of my image up against a white background. To help see the challenge ahead, I'm going to create and encourage you to create a blank layer. Drag that below, fill that layer with something like a bright color, like that magenta. And now you can see, of course, that it has a crisp cutout edge. Clicking back on the layer mask and onto the selection tool, I'll re-enter the select and mask function. And I think I'll increase that transparency setting so I can really see that edge. And the next tool I want to share is the second one down, called Refine Edge Brush. And what that lets you do is describe for Photoshop the transitional area. So I'm moving my mouse, my brush over, making it big enough to span that transitional area. And now I'm just moving over that edge to give it a chance to create a little bit more feathered transition. So already, let's just focus on this particular part right here that we succeeded at. I'll click OK. And there you can see that it's a much smoother transition, a much softer edge, allowing me to see the background there. I want to edit it some more. So again, click there, click there. Maybe I missed too much, so I'll hold Shift. Oops, missed too much, so I'll hold Shift and add a little bit to that. And then once you do that again, you grab the Refine Selection tool and move that brush right along that edge, and it creates that, it attempts to create that transitional transparency that can really make a photograph like this blend in well with the next background I choose to put it